is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. Dan, unfortunately, we can't say it's a victory pod this week. We almost could.
Everything sucks, bro. Everything sucks.
Uh-oh.
I'm Daniel. Hello, dude. I'm just, what do you got to say? Luckily we don't record these right after games. Can you imagine how emotional it would get if we just recorded directly after games, just right away?
It would be rough.
I mean, it wouldn't be you wouldn't have time to sort through things. I mean, have you ever been in an argument with a significant other or a fight with a friend, and it's like you take a minute, you're gonna be stupid.
You gotta let things simmer. Don't say anything in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, man.
I've learned that the hard way.
It's getting all too familiar to let my emotions simmer after letting 2 points slip us by in the last minutes.
Oh, and it's happening. I'm trying to find right now. Someone sent us a tweet, and I'm trying to find it right now, that showed that it's something like 6 points dropped after the 84th minute, I think it said, and it was against this year.
Oh, wow.
And if we didn't drop those points, we would be up around fourth place with LAFC. We'd just be right below them on goal differential. But the teams that we dropped points to were like Houston, Vancouver, and I'm blanking on the other one. I'm trying to find the tweet right now. I can't find it, but it's basically dropping 6 points after the 84th minute when you're fighting for your playoff lives is not the move. So
not great, man. It's God, and the theme of the week. The theme of these 8 days of soccer that Sporting has to go through is heat.
Oh my
Mother
God.
lover. It is going to be hot. I'm going to Austin, Texas this weekend. Why? Why am I going?
Going to Austin after we might die playing in the media game because there are reports of heat indices of 110.
I'm a game time decision for the media game. I'm game time decision.
I'm
hurt. I'm trying to rehab some shit. All right.
Oh, it's going to be so hot, and it's going to suck, and it's going to be terrible. And it's going to be awful. So it's all in all, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, but here we go. I found it. It was a DM. I thought it was a tweet. It was from Grant West. He said, here's a fun/painful stat from the season. Sporting has dropped 6 total points since the 84th minute. If we were able to see out those games, then we would currently be tied on points with LAFC for 4th, but goal differential would mean they'd be 5th in the West. The worst part is 3 of the 4 teams they lost points to, Houston, Dallas, and Vancouver, are within 4 places of them in the standings.
I think you'd take 5th place over 10th. It's just wild, man. You got to be able to close out games. And this game had not 1, but 2 stoppage time goals.
Yeah.
1 in each half, which is dude, you think Peter didn't rip some asses?
No.
I'm pretty sure he got a little upset.
He did. And we'll talk all about the game and break down the goals and what happened and Peter's thoughts after, and the controversy with the refereeing and the should have been red card that wasn't a red card and all sorts of craziness, man. First, I do want to read an email that we got from a listener, Adam Ronenbaum. Thank you, Adam. He says, a couple of random thoughts from the game. Number 1, I haven't heard the Houston Stadium that loud for an MLS game in a long time. It's great to see the fan base growing there again. This is an editor's side note. Be great if we didn't hear homophobic chants from the crowd multiple times throughout the broadcast. But
I didn't actually ever hear it, but I'm never listening for it, I guess. So
I heard it.
Who am I?
2, at least 2, if not 3 times. And then the one time I didn't hear it on the broadcast, I was talking to somebody at the stadium, and they're like a Houston person actually at the stadium. And they're like, oh no, I just heard it too. So not great. But he said, it's great to see the fan base there growing again. That plus the nonsense at the end of the match should turn up the heat on the SKC versus Houston rivalry once again, which is possible because that was once a pretty decent rivalry. And he goes, number 2, I don't think I have ever seen a player sub into the game already on a yellow like Ulfarsson. Is that something you guys have ever experienced? Because Ulfarsson was on the Houston bench. He was showing a yellow for dissent while on the bench, and then 25 minutes later subbed into the game already on a yellow card. So
Yeah,
It's
that's
unusual.
awkward as hell. And then on the other hand, Tim Leibold goes to the bench and gets a yellow as well. And
Right.
I'm like, what
For
is going
dissent.
on? When you hear dissent, that just means like some shit was said. Like
He
you flapped your gums and you
MF the
were,
ref.
you were offensive or you told the ref off or something. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what? Like, I think we all stand behind you if you called the ref some names. I think we're with you.
I mean that we'll talk about what happened there because there was some questionable decisions.
Just
But
another fucking day, bro.
Adam finishes it off for you guys. Keep it up. I absolutely love the pod and how you all continue to grow the game of soccer. Good luck in the media game. Adam in Atlanta.
Adam, gosh, I tell you what, good luck in the media game indeed, because they didn't put us on the same team. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I mean, I don't know. It's not Patrick. I know you're all listening.
Are you even mad about this? Are you even mad?
I would like to be on the same team.
Right,
I definitely would like to be on the same team. I
You're
think
not mad. I'm just gonna score golazzos.
you're just gonna 2-foot attack on me in the 110-degree weather.
I'm gonna push you for delaying a restart or something.
That would be funny if we reenacted the Gotti Keane to Sebastian Ferreira.
Very funny.
And then Hartzell, who's usually the referee, would have to come show somebody. If he was paying attention, to be a yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be pretty funny.
Well, that's a nice email, by the way, from Adam. Thank you so much. That took some time to put together, so I appreciate it.
And he's in Atlanta, which is great because he's not an Atlanta United fan, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not.
Fan. So
that's wonderful.
Love that, behind enemy lines. So we'll take it. Yeah, man. Appreciate Adam. It was a weird week in sporting Kansas City soccer because before we even got to the game, which we knew was going to be a crucial game, and I had said last week, I think, if I remember correctly, I thought we'd at least be able to get a result, but we'll see. We had a signing, and I don't know that any of us expected a signing. Certainly not this signing.
I think we were all kind of like, you know what, we could use another midfielder. Oh, you know what would be better? A midfielder we've had before.
Right.
You know,
a former designated player.
Very interesting.
Who left after an injury.
Who left in 2020, by the way. Very quiet season for this person.
Yeah, I mean, his contract, it's Felipe Gutierrez, who we're talking about. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you have, but the former designated player, the Chilean midfielder, has re-signed with Sporting Kansas City through the 2023 MLS season with an option for 2024. So this is the season-ending injury replacement player for Courtney Ford. So that means that Felipe Gutierrez, I can't just say Felipe anymore because now there's two Felipes.
It's true.
He can make a maximum of $165,000, which is what Courtney Ford was making, according to the Players Association. So
that is a fraction of what he made before.
It's like, that's like 35% of what his old salary was, if that.
Pretty wild. Wild. Life comes at you hard.
I know he left and he went to Chile, I believe, for a little bit after Sporting, and then ended up with the Colorado Rapids. So yeah, he's 32 years old. It feels like he's older to me because he was here for a little bit and then he left and I just haven't heard about him for a while. 32 years old. He had been with Sporting from 2018 to 2020. He was a designated player. He did miss the 2020 season due to that knee injury. But he did.
We all missed that season. All right.
We all missed that year.
It was a weird time.
He did win the Sporting KC Golden Boot in 2019. So this is an interesting signing because, like you said, if you would have asked me where is Sporting's greatest position of need, it would not have been anywhere in the midfield.
No. And turns out this man can play almost anywhere on the field, according to Peter Vermees.
Yeah.
Felipe Gutierrez said that as such as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he say? 7 positions? Like he could play a false 9, the 2 wings, anywhere in the midfield, and wing backs.
I mean, we all know. I mean, if Peter is going to use him that way, then this is just, we're reverting back to what he used to do with Jimmy Medranda, because Jimmy Medranda would play all over the field.
Yeah. But also, Zusi would occasionally as well when he started to transition to right back from being a midfielder and a forward. But this is weird. And I'm also very excited because I like this man. I like him as a person. I like him as a player.
Yeah.
It was sad to see him get injured. It was sad to see him leave, but he didn't leave because he was bad. He left because we couldn't afford him. And at this price, why the hell wouldn't you bring him back into the club?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, he's a veteran presence. He knows the system. Sporting Kansas City doesn't really have the room to make a big splashy signing because they didn't have the roster spots, and they really had the one option, which was put Courtney Ford on the SEI list and then use his salary. So I guess if you look at it from that perspective, this is probably the most immediately impactful signing you can have, given that's the only maneuver you can use, because you're bringing in an experienced guy. He's a former Golden Boot winner for the team in 2019, former designated player. He's not going to take that much time to acclimate and get used to the system because he already knows it. And to his credit, he stayed healthy largely since he's left Sporting KC. So I'm just curious to see where he'll play on the field. We had Nemanja Radoja go out with an injury, although I don't think it's a bad injury. He was listed as questionable. But my understanding is that this signing was not in response to the Radoja injury. That was coincidental. Right. So
it was bad enough for Radoja not to make the trip to Houston.
Make the trip. And I don't blame them because it was hotter than Hades in Houston. So it's
I bet Felipe's available Wednesday. That they've talked about that.
I think he probably will at least be in the team. I think he makes an appearance Wednesday. I mean, again, it's supposed to be what did I say? Between 100 and 110, according to the National Weather Service in the heat index.
What? We're in. What are we doing? What is this?
I mean, welcome to the.
The
new.
Do media games get hydration breaks?
Every 2 minutes. Stop. Hold on. Let's drink it up. Stop.
Oh my goodness! This is. We're not even on the same team, man.
I know it's a bummer, but we'll since we're not on the same team, we can potentially recreate that hilarious ending to the Houston game.
Okay, if that includes me falling down, that's not gonna be great.
Well, maybe I'll fall down.
Okay.
And I'll just roll around and pretend that I died, and maybe we'll have somebody come out with a stretcher.
It's gonna be a shit show. We're all gonna cramp up. It's going to be ridiculous.
It is going to be bad. We might actually literally need some hot shots at the media game because we'll all be cramping after the first 4 minutes.
Look, we're over the hot shot thing, by the way? Like, are you over it?
I mean, I'd still do it if we had it, but it seemed like that was a quick moment in time.
I'm totes over it now that people are like, I'm going to try this hot shot. And then they were like, yeah, it's whatever. And I'm like, okay, you've blown it up. Like, it's not even fun anymore, you know?
Yeah. No, so it is going to be interesting. One thing that I did find interesting regarding the Felipe Gutierrez signing before we move into the Houston game is Mike Kuhn pointed out on Twitter, because he's like a human Sporting KC encyclopedia, that Felipe Hernandez, the other Felipe, baby Felipe, is with Sporting Kansas City 2 again. And it's been a minute since we've seen Felipe Hernandez in the first team selection with Sporting KC. So I went back and I looked, and his 5 most recent first team appearances, he hasn't appeared in MLS play in a month. His last appearance was June 10th. You want to know how long he played? Whopping 1 minute he played. Before that, May 28th, 13 minutes. Before that, May 13th, 4 minutes. Before that, May 7th, he played a whole 45 minutes there. And then on April 22nd, 23 minutes. So he's barely played like 80 minits total in the last 3 or 4 months for Sporting KC senior team. Something, I don't know he's in the doghouse or what, but it just seems like, I don't know, Peter's kind of moved on from Felipe Hernandez, and Felipe Gutierrez might be that depth to come in so we don't have to rely so much on Roger if we need to bring one of the 8s out, or if Voltaire or Radoja have already subbed in for each other. So
something smells afoot. It's different. Now, SKC2, on the other hand, are very fun to watch, especially when they're having like 8 first-team loanees. And it's like, whoa, why aren't we watching these games? It's basically a Sporting KC game, you know?
Yeah.
And they're winning pretty handedly, not except for this past weekend. But Benny Feilhaber getting coach of the month or whatever, just
it's awesome.
Very neat situation down there. And I urge you all, it's not the easiest to find games, by the way. SKC2, I kind of rely on Twitter when they're like, here's our lineup. And I'm like, oh, is there a game tonight? So there you go.
Yeah, it would be nice if some of those successes with Sporting Kansas City 2 started translating more to the first team. We talked about before, it's been a little bit, but we'll see. So hopefully that can they can start making that jump, and we'll get some more constant contributors from SKC2 on the senior team. We'll see. So let's take a quick break here before we jump into this Houston game, because there's lots of shenanigans to talk about with this Houston game. But we're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
Hey,
Hello.
dude, I got to tell you, I'm convinced. I've been watching a lot of Mission Impossible, by the way, gearing up for the new movie. All right. I'm convinced no one's face is their real face.
Oh, yeah?
It's a wild time, bro. You go ahead, watch the Mission Impossible. Trust nobody.
I have a confession for you.
You never seen them.
I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible
Are you
movies.
a fan of spy stuff like at all, or even like stunts in movies?
Yes. They're fine.
They're great.
But
Dude.
I don't know why. I've never seen them. Neither of my parents, like back when the first Mission Impossibles came out, like neither of them were really fans. So I just kind of never got into it.
Oh my God, bro. I mean, yeah, we got Nick ready for
Nick knows
Barbie and
what's up.
Oppenheimer, but
Nick's getting ready for the Barbenheimer day.
that's fine. We'll cross that bridge. I'm excited for that too. But Mission Impossible is legit, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
What are you sleeping on? They're all on Paramount Plus. Go check them out.
I know. I gotta watch those. I still haven't gone and seen the new Indiana Jones, which I've heard from audiences is enjoyable. If you just go have fun, you'll enjoy it.
This is just, by the way, when we come back from break, it's called the Koozie Movie Minute. Just made that up. It's the Koozie Movie Minute. There should be a whole segment like bam, bam, bam.
You come back in a tie and in a microphone and
oh, dude, bow tie, 100%. My hair's like slicked back and shit.
Okay, well, as part of the Koozie Movie Minute going forward, maybe I'll give you a 30-second review of Mission Impossible as I move through the series.
That would be phenomenal. You watch it? That'd be sick.
I'll watch them. I just gotta, I gotta work in that time. I gotta watch The Bear. I haven't watched The Bear yet, and everybody's talking about The Bear, but I haven't watched that.
A fun show too.
I gotta watch season 3 of Righteous Gemstones. I gotta watch Muscles and Mayhem on Netflix.
You don't gotta watch that one.
Not that one.
Watch the 30 for 30 on ESPN for American Gladiators. That was fine. Both? No. That's overkill. That's like watching the two Nexium documentaries on Starz and on HBO. One was called The Vow, and one was called something else. I watched them both. That's too much.
I watched both Firefest documentaries.
That's too much too.
I learned different things from different ones.
That's a trash ass situation.
It was. So,
anyway. Man, Nexium just had me feeling like, damn, is everyone trying to get me in a sex cult up in here? Like, I don't want it. I
will say, Nick said, watch the Bourne series. I've seen the first 2, but that's where I fell off. So I got to go watch those.
What's happening? Is he talking against Mission Impossible? Is he like, don't watch Mission Impossible?
No. You can you can enjoy the Bourne series and you can enjoy Mission Impossible. They're not mutually exclusive. He said it's fine.
He said it's fine. Go look at Tomatoes. Go check out Tomatoes and tell me if it's fine. What is happening?
We're doing a totally different show now.
New producer. Next.
Let's get into this Houston game. If you look at the lineup, I mean, no real surprises. The lineup is what it is. This is the first team lineup now because Tim's going to be a while, and Jake Davis is doing fine at right back. This is it. This Houston team is a different Houston team than we've seen in the past because we're not seeing the Alberth Elises or the Mauro Manoteses or whatnot. So the only names that I really know is Hector Herrera, obviously from his time with the Mexican national team and over in Europe. And then there's some role players you've heard of, Corey Baird, who was with RSL, I think, and Orlando.
I knew that. I knew Baird would do something. I knew he'd do something good, man, because he is a good player. Corey Baird is very good.
He's good. He's just, you don't look at, outside of Herrera, at least for me, I don't look at this Houston roster and there's no like stars. There's no players where you're like, damn, that's Carlos Vela, or, that's what David Villa was when he was on NYCFC. There's no, like, that's the guy that you got to key in on, except for maybe Herrera. And, I know I'm more familiar with the Sporting's roster, but there's a number of playmakers available there.
Sure.
We did know that Houston was very good at home. They were 7-1-1, and they'd only allowed 3 goals. That's the most wild stat to me. Through 9 games, they'd only allowed 3 goals all year at home.
And we dropped 2 on them.
And we were the first team to drop 2.
That's pretty cool.
So, and it did start in the 25th minute for Sporting Kansas City. And, you know, this all happened because there was a turnover that was forced in the midfield. And then Alan Pulido just had a perfectly timed run where he gets past the Houston defense. And this is one of the rare times that Fontas stepping up actually made a difference. And Gadiquina does this nice little back heel flip thingy to Alan Pulido's perfectly timed run, who then is able to put the ball past Steve Clark with this nice little chip. And it's 1-0 in the 25th minute. We knew that Sporting had to score first. Started pretty well.
Listen, is Steve Clark just going to play for every team? When he popped up, I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Like you know him from places. You've seen him elsewhere, you know?
Yeah. He's been annoying. He's been around. I most associate him with Portland at this point because he was with the Timbers for a bit, and I don't like the Timbers, so he was annoying there. But Alan Pulido,
it wasn't just Portland, right? Wasn't he? Oh, he's a DC United with Ben.
I was going to say, I thought it was DC too.
And Columbus Crew for like 3 years, right?
Columbus was going to be the one that I wasn't as sure about, but I would have guessed Columbus if my life depended on it.
Yes. So this is his 4th MLS team.
Yeah. So he's on the move some.
Hey, at least he's, has a job. Like he's consistently.
And he's starting
playing
wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I mean, he's a decent keeper, and Pulido chips him. Pulido has been in fine form ever since he's gotten back to full fitness. I mean, this is when you say, hey, we brought in an $11 million striker, these are the types of moves that you expect a striker to make. Perfectly timed runs, chipping goalkeepers, scoring braces. I mean, he's had, 8 goals since he came back? He's climbing up the league lead for goals, and he missed, the first 2 months of the year.
Bro, he's got, 9 goals in 7 games, I think the stat was.
Yeah. I mean, he saw what Willie Agata did when he came in. He was like, "Oh no, Willie, you're not taking my spot."
Like, I don't like this. Who's this man? He's first of all, way too happy. Knock it off. Second of all, how dare you kiss my coach?
That would have been funny if on Pulido's first goal of the year, he ran over and kissed Peter Remise.
Yes, but on the mouth.
Just one-upped him. No, this was good. 1-0, 25th minute. Houston are not known for being an overly offensive team. They have a negative goal differential. So to get the first goal in Houston is exactly what Sporting Kansas City needed to do. And, if you think, hey, let's just get to the half, regroup, 1-0, it's totally fine. And it looked like we were going to do that until 45th minute plus the second minute of stoppage time. And this is just a really poor defensive effort from Sporting Kansas City. I'm going to give credit to Houston. Some nice ball movement here. But essentially what happens is Hector Herrera gets a wide open run up the middle of the field. Nobody really steps up to him. He does a little give and go. And then for whatever reason, Danny Rosero decides he's just going to stand there and does not run with his man Aliu, which gives a wide open pass to Hector Herrera to Aliu, who just taps it in for a goal.
Was this the one? Did Baird do that cheeky pass between Kinda's legs on this one? Was this that one?
Was that Baird? It wasn't between Kinda's legs. There was a pass. I think it was Baird between Fontas's legs.
Fontas. Okay.
Yeah. There's the give and go Herrera to Baird.
A great team goal, right? It went out and then came back in, and I was like, wow, that's textbook stuff that when they make it look that easy and no one else is around, and you could only hope it's offsides, and you're like, it really wasn't at all.
You were looking.
Fontas just stopped. I think he was distracted by the nutmeg. He's like, "You gonna do that to my boy?" Oh shit!
Yeah, Fontas gets nutmegged, and then Rosero just looks there. And I think the only thing, if you're gonna say anything, that he expects is that Herrera is gonna try to take it and chip McIntosh. I saw somebody say McIntosh shouldn't have come out. If you're gonna come out, you need to get there. I think. Well, first off, McIntosh did the right thing, and I think he might have gotten there, and he might have had actually a relatively non-zero chance of saving Hector Herrera's chip. But since Rosero didn't run with Aliu, I mean, that could have been me in Aliu's spot, and I would have scored with the pass that Herrera had because it was that wide open.
I wouldn't have. I like to miss wide open shit. Yeah.
I mean, Rosero, if I have a complaint about Rosero, it's that he's wildly inconsistent. And sometimes he just seems like he kind of gives up.
Yeah, it looked weird. He just like thought the play was over, and it's like, yo, you're actively getting scored on right now.
The play is not done. Your man is the one scoring, and you have a front row seat.
Unbelievable. It was so weird, man.
So I know Peter was not happy about that at the half. I can't imagine what the halftime talk was. It goes from, hey, this is great. We're in a place where it's impossible to score, almost impossible to win. We're up 1-0 at the half to, we just gave up a terribly dumb goal. Don't do that again. So, it's halftime, and they come back out, and Gotti Quintas is on the field, and he's doing step overs and he's driving into the box. And Artur for Houston, I'm not really sure what he was doing. He got down into like his long snapper stance where his legs were like 7 feet apart from each other, and he just takes down Gotti Quintas at the end line in the penalty box, and it's a blatant penalty. There's a question.
100%. Quintas is getting good at making people foul him in the box.
Yeah, he is.
It's scary. And if you're a team and you're playing Sporting KC this week, you're showing highlights of, hey, look, this time someone fouled Quintas in the box. Here's another time where someone fouled Quintas in the box. It's going to happen. So the coach is going to say, don't do that.
Right.
Do not do that. He will call it.
I mean, Quintas is so creative. Sometimes, he's got his goals or whatnot, but you were the one who was like, sometimes body moves too fast for his mind. That same thing where he would just like take off and then not decide what he wants to do. Quintas definitely more polished than Gerso was because Quintas got a little bit more creativity there. But then you see moments like this where he does the step overs, he makes his move, and there's nothing Artur can do except foul him, and leads to a penalty kick from Polito, who's gone to the left like 4 of his last 5 times. So, of course, Steve Clark goes that way, and Polito just does this man dirty and like slowly rolls it into the right side of the net.
Polito's not hit, dude. A lot of times in PKs, you just hit it hard and pick a direction. Polito's going to read you. And a good goalkeeper is unreadable. He's going to stand his ground until you kick that ball.
Yeah.
But he saw Steve Clark shaded a little centimeter, and he goes, all right, I'm going the other way. It was insane.
The thing I like about Polito, though, when he does it, is he doesn't, and this isn't shade at Benny Feilhaber, but he doesn't do what Benny Feilhaber does, where Benny would do the, like, he'd stop, and it seemed like he'd go in slow motion for a second as he dragged, trying to see where you were leaning. Allen has the slightest hesitation, but he's got such a good soccer IQ and such good reflexes. All he needs to see is that slight lean from Clark, and he has the ability to flip what he was about to do in a millisecond.
It's pretty insane. I'm just, dude, we're lucky to have Allen. Enjoy it now because we don't know if we'll have it next year,
I did get a DM from somebody, forgive me, I don't remember who it was, but they were talking to some Chivas fans, and they were like, they're dead set convinced he's coming next year. So we'll see. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but who knows? Polito puts Sporting up 2-1 in the 62nd minute. I mean, how are you feeling? It's by no means done. There's 30 minutes left, but feeling pretty decent at that point.
Oh, a lot of time left. And then Peter comes out and starts making very early-ish defensive subs. And it's like, oh, okay, he's done scoring for the most part. Like he's like, we need to protect this lead. And it is what it is, man. And it got scary. It's too much time left at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, he left Allen in until the 81st minute. I mean, I actually think Peter did a good job with his game plan. The goals he was very upset about, but those are not Peter's fault. I just think that overall it was a solid game plan. He used his subs wisely, I thought. He knows that Houston is not the strongest offensive team. They're just not. So he starts bringing some players in. He even switches to a back 3. When Allen goes down, I don't think Allen was really that hurt, but he was probably dead tired because it was 8 million degrees. He brings in Robert Castellanos. Kyrie Shelton had already come in the game, not at right back, which I was a little concerned about right back because Jake Davis looked tired as hell. But yeah, suddenly now you have a back 3, and I should say a back five, really, because they were playing essentially a 5-man back line. It was like
True.
a 5-4-1 at that point, 5-3-2.
Wasn't enough because balls are still dropping on the ground in front of net.
Well, the problem was, there's 10 minutes of stoppage time, right? There was a lot of stoppage time. 10 minutes seemed maybe a little excessive, but
Well, water breaks in there too,
it's not my biggest gripe of all the things. But then what happens is in the 98th minute, Houston sends in a prayer of a ball that's an easy clearance for Robert Castellanos. Easy clearance, just another day at the office. You head that ball out, you head it as far as you can back toward the midfield line, and you regroup. He goes to head it, he slips. And as soon as he slips, the announcer even said, "Oh, he slips. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite Sporting Kansas City." And I just had this sinking feeling because then the ball is headed down into the box. Danny Rosero, it just kind of goes beneath his legs. And Jake Davis is not running with Franco. And this is the biggest mistake that Jake Davis made all game. And it's because I think he was so tired. Franco has a clear shot on goal. That makes it 2-2. And that was pretty much all she wrote.
It's insane, man. It's so sad to have the lead like that, man. To get the lead twice in the game, and
in a place where it's tough to get the lead.
Yeah, man. And Kendall McIntosh played really well. I mean, he had some great diving saves this whole game. But what was kind of overshadowed here was that this man, Sebastian Ferreira, decides he's going to go
lose his damn mind.
Just like, what the fuck? I don't understand that. I don't know if it's a red card. It should
is a
be
red card.
Because, like, what are you doing? But the referee is just too chicken shit to make that decision. He's just scared that that'll change the game. It won't. The red card's not going to help us. We're not going to win the game. I believe that. There's not enough time left. But at least that player gets to sit the next game because he just lost his mind. Has MLS done anything about it yet?
No, they don't. They haven't announced, at least at the time of this recording, they haven't announced the disciplinary committee results. He will get suspended. I would bet a lot of money right now that it's going to come out that Sebastian Ferreira will be suspended for at least a game, and they will say he should have been awarded a red card.
Well, then the referee will get coached and be like, "Well, yeah, I fucked up. I was a chicken shit." You know what I mean? He will know.
What didn't make sense is Gadi Kinda's doing his thing. He's, he goes to kick it. He doesn't kick it. Ferreira loses his mind. He comes, he knocks him down. It's a dead ball. It's violent conduct. It's not a soccer play. It's an immediate red card by the book, hands down. Every single person I've talked to, Houston, Seattle, no matter the affiliation, every single person says it's a red card. The announcers on the broadcast, as it happens, they're like, he's going to get a red card. He's really stupid.
I agree with you. But do you listen to Extra Time?
Don't tell me somebody on Extra Time said it's not a red card.
David Goss was like, no, I think it's warranted. Like, I hate when people do that false start stuff and, no blood, no foul. And I'm like, is this a legit source of soccer news that we're listening to right now?
That makes me mad.
Go listen to Extra Time. He was, and I don't remember who's with him on it, but they were like, are you serious right now?
Was it Andrew Wiebe?
No. But he's like, everyone else says it should have been a red and at least a yellow, but you're saying it shouldn't have been anything. Like,
here's
go
the
let
reason
that man have it.
Here's the reason that David Gass's argument doesn't hold up. What Gadi Kinda did is not against the rules. He's allowed to pretend to take the kick and then reset. What Sebastian Ferreira did is explicitly against the rules, and by the book is an immediate red card.
People pretend to take the kick all the time. Yeah, that's part of the game. You're making their defenders run more.
Right. And like the broadcaster, they're like, Sebastian Ferreira, that was a dumb mistake. He's going to get a red card. He's going to be, and then Sagafi didn't show the red card. Everybody was confused. That's when Tim Leibold got his yellow for dissent.
Couldn't believe that.
You're right. It probably wasn't going to lead to a different result because there was like a minute left. The only thing I could argue is that Sporting did go on to earn a set piece in a potentially dangerous area. Now, Gadi Kinda sailed the free kick, so in the end, no harm, no foul. But if they have a better set piece, well, now if Houston's down a man, you got a wide open guy. I mean, not wide open, but you got an unmarked man in the box. Yeah. So that's where it could have made a difference.
You want to know the best part about all of this? Gotti did it again.
He did it twice.
He did. He delayed the restart a second time just to be a dick.
Yeah. Well, hey, good for him.
Absolutely good for him. Even
He's
the announcers were like, he did it again.
Well, and I saw somebody, I think they were a Houston fan or something. They were like, Vermees coach is time wasting, so this is normal for them. I was like, in what world do you time waste when you just blew a result and you're trying like this? That's not what was happening here.
You're not time wasting, dude. No. We just had the win.
I did also have a Seattle fan in my mentions. They're like, well, Mealy also should have gotten a red card for rock bottom and Christian Roldan too.
Off. Get over it.
I was like, nobody's arguing with you. That was 3
years
ago.
Do you know this person?
And yet, no. That was a quick mute.
Dude, people are so boned up for that no call on Tim Melia. I don't understand.
I mean, I think we all agree, probably should have been a red card, but it also happened 3 years ago.
I was at that motherfucking game, and it was amazing. I was scared to leave, though.
So, I mean, this sucks because it ends 2-2, and we say in a vacuum, if it's another season, a draw in Houston is a good result, especially considering how good they've been at home. But Sporting are now at a point where they don't have room for error like this. They can't drop points after the 84th minute. They have to go on the road and steal points like this. And those 2 points may come back to bite them quite hard at the end of the year.
And now you're playing at home. So now you need to grab these points at home.
Yeah.
And potentially grab points at Austin. And we're going to talk all about those games.
We will, but it sucks. Peter was asked straight up if a draw on the result or a draw on the road is a good result. And he goes, no, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. In the last minute of the first half, we even told the guys and we were yelling to them. And then in the second half, we put ourselves in a position to deal with those kinds of balls coming into the box. And for us not to be able to get on the end of that ball as timid as we were, it disappoints me. And he says that, they gave away 2 points tonight. So he's not shying away. I mean, he had his thoughts about the red card, but he also was like, we gave away 2 points. He didn't say Sagafi, the referee, gave away 2 points. We, Sporting Kansas City, gave away 2 poins tonight. So,
well, yeah, he's not trying to get fined.
No, I mean, that's what I think it was Daniel Sperry who asked, and he's got to ask because, if Daniel Sperry wasn't going to ask, I was going to ask. But Peter, he said his thing, and then he was like, what do you want me to say?
Peter should have been like, okay, are you going to pay my fine? Like, I'll answer the question honestly if you're going to pay my fine.
I mean, he's said it before. I'm sure he's been fined many times. So
100%.
Let's take a quick break again, and then we'll talk about where things stand now, the RSL game coming up, and what Sporting has to do going forward. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
We have to talk about a retraction from last week. You know where I'm going with this?
I do know where you're going with this.
Buddy, we talked like these fun facts and stats that we took directly from a sportingkc.com article.
The By the Numbers article.
The By the Numbers article. And you reach out to me a couple days later and you're like, hey, where'd you see that? I was working on something. I wanted to, cite my source or whatever. And I said, oh, it's right here. And you go, well, it's not there anymore. They must have deleted it. Now, I do some weird shit sometimes, but I did not make that stat up. There's no way I could ever come up with that. I read it directly from this post. I think they listened to our shitty podcast and was like, wait, we actually said that? That's not right. I need to go pull that down. So before you guys think we're dumb, they dumb.
Well, so we mentioned the 20 lineups in 24 games. And now on the broadcast before the kickoff, the broadcasters did say this is the 25th lineup or 21st lineup in 25 games for Sporting KC.
Why'd they say that? Because they read the article as well.
They probably
and that's how announcers prep for things.
And I think the other one.
In this week's, that stat says Sporting has used 21 different lineups in 25 matches this season across all competitions.
So we were right. The other one, why
did they take it away?
Well, the other one that I thought was interesting that I think they actually were wrong on was when they said Daniel Shallowy was the only player to play in 22 games. That was amended to add, I think it said Eric Tommy has played in 22. Like there's been some changes since then. So,
and then we also pointed out like Sporting's the only team that has even played 22 games. So that's a funny stat. Anyways, just weird, man. Fake news all over the place.
No, well, you say that because I have the By the Numbers for this week pulled up. I was going to mention some things. So Let's
Good.
hope it's
Be
accurate.
careful, because they'll black it out like CIA stuff, man.
Before we move into the RSL game, I do want to say, hey, Alan Polito, again, he's on the team of the match day. I could argue that Gotti
Insane.
Kinda probably should have also been on team of the match day because he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And had we won, he probably would have. But yeah, Alan Polito, he was the only player from the Sporting KC versus Houston game to make it into the 11. Hector Herrera made the team of the match day bench, which I always think is funny that they have a team of the match day bench. It's like, the outside looking in on who almost was there.
Almost made it. Not good enough.
So now, instead of jumping up to be level on points with Houston, where we would have moved fully into that 9th place spot, that last place spot for playoffs, instead, we are now at 25 points, which means we are level on points with the Vancouver Whitecaps once again, who are in that last place spot. The problem being still, we have played 3 more games than Vancouver has. That will even out at some point, but Sporting Kansas City still the only team in the Western Conference to have played 23 games. There are 3 teams in the Eastern Conference who have also played 23 games, being DC, New York City, and Toronto FC. But time is starting to run out. There's 11 games to make up this point differential, and we had said last week, you got to win 5 of the last 6. You probably got to draw at least 3 or 4 of the road games and try to steal one on the road. Houston was the one to steal on the road the way that it broke out, but didn't work. So
how's this for a fun little stat, man, that when we score 1 or no goals, we don't win.
Yeah, literally winless across all competitions this year if they score
when we
1 or
score
fewer
2 goals, we're pretty good.
Haven't lost.
Yeah.
We're 7-0-2 across all competitions when Sporting scores multiple goals. We are 0-11-5, 11 losses, 5 draws when scoring 1 or fewer. So this,
you know how many times though? You're right. You know how many times I've been at a game where we score and I'm like, it's not enough. It's not enough. I gotta have 1 or 2 more.
Yep.
Let's go, because it just doesn't feel safe.
Yep. Every time it's 1-0 at the half or whatnot, I say, okay, it's pretty good, and you're like, need more.
Gotta have it.
So
and the stats back it up, dude, because they give it up.
Yeah, and this one, RSL comes to town on Wednesday now, and this one is fascinating because weirdly, if you look at how RSL breaks down, I mean, both of these teams have been very good since the start of May. 23 points for RSL, 22 points for Sporting KC. Those are the 2 most point totals in the Western Conference since the start of May. RSL is sitting well above the playoff line in 4th place, 33 points through 22 games. This is what's so interesting, though. They are much better on the road than they are at home. At home, their record is 4-4. 3 wins, 4 losses, 4 draws. On the road, 6-3-2. 6 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. So they are a more dangerous, more successful team on the road. Sporting obviously is better at home than they are on the road. So these are 2 strengths, I guess you could say, coming together. But it's unusual to see a team be that much better on the road than they are at home. And there's some historic bad blood between these 2 clubs, dating all the way back to, that 2013 MLS Cup and before. So this is once again a major game that if Sporting Kansas City can't get the full 3 points, we're running out of runway here. That's about it.
We are indeed. Dude, is it time for a Daniel Shalhoub goal? It feels like it's been a little bit.
Yeah. Yes.
It feels good. And I saw something that said, he's 1 shy of Davy Arnaud and Josh Wolf.
2 good names.
All-time goals in club history. How cool would it be to tie Josh Wolf this Wednesday and then go play Josh Wolf's team on Saturday?
It would be pretty fun. Yeah, Daniel Shalhoub has not scored a regular season goal or any goal since May 31st.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
So it's
Allen has picked up that pace a little bit.
Yes.
That'll happen. But if Daniel can start knocking some in too, it's not like he hasn't been in the conversation.
No, I mean, he's creative. He's been around. I mean, when Sporting played at home a couple of games ago. Peter Vermees said that they specifically attacked Vancouver down the left side because of Daniel Shalhoub. So, I mean, he's still a dangerous player, a creative player. What is interesting, though, is Johnny Russell, the captain, he's not the Johnny Russell that we all know and love this year. He's not had the best year. He's played 15 games. He scored last on May 17th. Before that, it was April 22nd. Those are his only 2 goals this year. He hasn't had an assist since May 13th. That's his only assist this year. This is, I mean, granted, he's been battling some injuries and stuff, but we're kind of missing what we're used to seeing from the wing on the right side. And that scares me a little bit against RSL because they're a very good team. They just signed forward Christian Arango. We can't really just rely on Polito and then hope that Shalhoub, Kinda, or Tommy can pick up the slack. We need to get more production out of that right wing. And my fear is I don't know if Johnny's going to put it together at the end of this year. And that scares me.
Yeah.
So
it is scary, man. If there was any other option, though, you know, who are you throwing in there? And
that's the problem. There isn't.
Yeah.
And Peter, there's no room to add a new player. Peter had some vague answers about like, well, we've talked about like a trade within the league. That'd really be the only options. We've discussed some names, but nothing to announce right now, which I did think was interesting because he kind of left the door open for like something might happen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I don't know if he's, and this is total speculation, right wing is a spot I would look at because we need depth beyond Johnny, and I don't think Kyrie is the guy who's going to solve your right wing depth. And center back is a place where I haven't been happy with the production over the course of the year, but I don't think they're going to trade for a center back. I don't think that's going to catapult you into the playoffs if you weren't going to get there before.
Right.
So, but how are you feeling again about RSL? I mean, I can't say I'm feeling terribly confident.
No, I'm not confident. It's going to be hot for everyone. You know what I mean? It's luckily we've been, you know, training there.
Yep.
They have not. So I don't know what Salt Lake weather is like. But it's not going to be easy.
No. It's not going to be easy.
It's still hot up there too, man. It's, you know, upper 90s and shit, so
well, and Salt Lake is a very solid club. They just won this past week 4-0, granted at home, but that was against Orlando City. So they're a team that they're a solid playoff team. They're a team that is going to be a hard one to beat. So and they have some good pieces. Like I said, Christian Arango, who they just signed, has appeared in 1 game for them. He's a very dangerous attacker. Justin Glad is another very good player. Damir Kreilach, a very good player. Andre Gomez, a very good player. So this is going to be a tough game.
Buddy, go to the MLS standings and go look at all the goals scored for all the teams in the playoffs and everything. We're right there in the talk of everybody. We've scored 28 goals and only allowed in 32. So a -4 goal differential.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the only one that's even crazily higher than us as far as scoring goals is St. Louis at 40. But everyone else has kind of averaged about 30 goals, just like us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we can compete. We can score the amount of goals that these teams are scoring as well.
Mm-hmm.
Their goal differentials aren't freaking crazy. RSL has a -1. San Jose, -3. I mean, we're -4. That ain't bad.
No, the problem is there's only 4 teams in the league that have allowed more goals than we have. And it's the Galaxy, who are worse than we are.
Sure. But they ain't scoring for shit either, and neither is Portland.
No, it's Charlotte, who's bad. It's Miami, who's the worst team in the league. And then the one outlier is Atlanta United, who they're a playoff team, and they have a +5 goal differential because they've scored 40 goals on the year.
It's insane. I'm just saying we can compete with the amount of goals we're putting in.
The offense has been largely – I still worry about the right wing, like I said, but the offense has been largely fine since Polito got healthy. Now, if Polito is gone, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, this offense is going to be nothing without Alan Polito.
Can you imagine? We just finally get our guy. You know, he's finally healthy, and we're going to lose him and we're not going to get anything for him.
I mean, we'll see. I still hope that they'll come to an agreement. Unless he's really looking down the last couple of years of his career and he's like, I want to go home to Mexico, which is possible. Um, he's going to be playing in better conditions here, but there's no place like home. So who knows?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm not confident. This is a must-win game for Sporting KC if they want to stay in the conversation.
It's Saturday too, man. Saturday is Austin points for the taking. This could be a huge 6-point week here.
Austin also a place that can be very difficult to win at. Their environment is crazy. They put on those crazy green lights every time they score a goal.
Is that good for like people who have seizures?
That's a good question. I don't know.
That can't be inclusive, right?
I don't know. That's honestly outside of my area, but
I was wondering because Racing Louisville was doing all sorts of strobes and shit. And I start to thinking, like, I have a friend who has epileptic seizures and shit. Yeah. And I'm just like, props to like teams that don't do that.
Yeah.
Because kind of fucked up when you think about it. You don't have a choice.
Austin's 5-3-3 at home. They have a 0 goal differential, 29-4, 29 against. So it's, again, that's a game where if you're going to drop the game in Houston, you got to go win the game in Austin. Like you're running out of chances. You got to go do it. So you're probably not going to win a game in Miami with their reinforcements from Barcelona coming over.
True. Maybe. I mean, we don't know.
You don't know. And it would be great to give Miami their first loss at home in the post-Messi era.
That would be wonderful.
So I did have I'm going to throw my brother Robbie under the bus real quick for a little bit. He tangentially follows LAFC. He's not a huge MLS fan. He's more of a Premier League fan. But he's like, my roommate wants to go see an LAFC team or LAFC game. And he was looking at tickets for the Miami game, but they're really expensive. Do you know like where I can go to get cheaper tickets? And I was like, yeah, you're not getting cheaper tickets to the Miami game.
No way.
It's after Messi's coming. Like it's simply impossible.
Wow.
And he was like, well, what about the Galaxy game? I was like, you pick the one other game where they're going to be stupid expensive because it's a rivalry.
Yep. Oh, man.
But, hey, at least new fans are coming, I guess. Well, you're going to have to report back about your time in Austin because I've not been there yet.
I hope I don't see those shitty green lights. That means we kept them off the board, right?
That's true. Before we go, I would be remiss if we didn't mention the U.S. men's national team. They almost blew it in the quarterfinals against Canada. They let in.
What a fun game, right?
It was a fun game. They let in a goal late in the game that put Canada up 2-1. It was the second half of extra time.
And then got a late goal to tie it up.
Got a late goal because Gianluca Buzio, he fired it on frame, and Dane St. Clair couldn't quite stop it. But then it was an own goal, all because of what Buzio had done. Yes. And then Buzio chosen to be the third penalty taker for the U.S. And could he have put a more perfect penalty kick out there?
That's so clutch, dude. I'm like, this man, he's not a kid anymore. He's a man. And this game had everything, all the way to referees getting blasted in the face in 30 seconds in.
That's a broken nose.
Yeah, I mean.
Point blank.
Yeah, he's fine. We've all been kicked in the face. I think he just wanted the night off. He's like, yeah, I'm tired.
That's probably what happened. He tipped the Canadian player. He's like, hey, just blast me in the face from 5 feet away.
Boss, I'm feeling sick today.
No, that looked painful.
It is. That shit's very painful. Yeah. And he's probably concussed as hell, but back in my day, you play through concussions.
But I'm just glad that because Gianluca Buzio plays in Serie B over in Italy. Venezia, the team he plays for, they're not great.
I bet we see him back here.
I don't know. Maybe he had some injuries this year, and then he kind of lost some time. But it's good to see him back with the U.S. men's national team, even if it's this like kind of B team in the Gold Cup. But not only there, but starting and contributing. If he can put penalties away like that, man, that's clutch as hell.
This man's trying to be part of the A-team conversation.
He's only 21 years old.
Yeah.
He's got a long career ahead of him. I'd like to see him move out of Venezia, out of Serie B, go to the Netherlands and play for Ajax or somewhere that is known for developing this young talent. And Borussia Dortmund, go there, see if he can continue to develop there. And we'll see. But
we were such a hot team before he left us.
Oh, he was so good.
Such a hot team, dude. Like he was doing pretty good things, and it was sad to see that end. So, we like to bring back old friends. So maybe we see him again someday in a Sporting KC uniform.
Maybe. I hope for his sake he has a long and illustrious career in Europe because I think that's what he wants to do. But if he came back to Sporting KC,
Jordan Morris route, man. Home is where the heart is,
Yeah. He did score his first goal for the U.S. men's national team in North Carolina where he grew up, which is kind of cool.
That's kind of badass, right?
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Shout out to Gianluca Buzio. Happy for you. Go beat Panama and then go on and I forget it's either Mexico or Jamaica that they'd have to face in the final. So
and we've beat all these people before. So Wednesday at 6:30, I believe. So
yeah. So
most people will be on their way to Sporting or there already.
It'll be ending right about the time that you and I are dying during the media game.
Bro. Why can't we be on the same team? Who did this? Who did this?
We probably know.
It's all right. Well, shit lists exist,
You got anything else for our good listeners before we sign off?
No, bro. Just don't expect much. I'm a game time decision for Wednesday. So
you're gonna show up all bandaged up and get an ice bath after.
It's a real thing. Yeah, I'm pretty hurt. So yeah, I don't have nothing else, man. I got to get this win. It'd be nice to get 2 wins this week. So
it would.
Come
out this week with 6 points. Be good.
What is going on? It's hot here, and so I'm like, I'm gonna take a little vacation. Where am I gonna go? Somewhere that's hotter. No one does that, dude. It's like last year when I went to LA and they were like, it's normally not this hot. I'm like, I know. I looked at like the weather calendar and y'all fooled me with this anomaly.
Climate change, man. I think last week they said worldwide it was the 5 hottest days that we've ever had across the world, like in aggregate. So,
well, your boy here has had to replace his entire HVAC system.
Oof.
Now, talk about things. Financially, I'm okay, but you don't want to have to do that, right?
No, that sucks. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, pretty rough.
No. Well, thank you all for listening. Make sure you check us out next week after hopefully at least a victory pod, if not a double victory pod. But follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMax03. Follow us on Threads. I don't know if we're going to be threading that much, but we're on Threads at NoOtherPod. Surprise! You made
first I'm hearing about this.
I've been threading for us.
Okay.
Email us nootherpod@gmail.com. And yeah, check us out on KCSN Soccer on YouTube and the KCSN app. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.